Welcome to episode 14 of Paris to Paris. Just to remind you, this series tells the story of my journey from Paris to Paris this summer. And just in case that sounds too easy, let me remind you that the journey may have begun in Paris, but along the way, I went to Avignon in the south of France where the world's biggest theatre festival was happening. Then I headed to the almost North African city of Marseille in the south of France, moving on through Nice, Cannes and Monte Carlo into Italy via Ventimiglia. Then I headed straight to the Italian town known for its balsamic vinegar, its cheeses, its lambrusco, and more than anything, Ferrari. Perhaps the most evocative name in motoring. But to my surprise, more than I was about much more than that. Not only did I drive Ferraris and visit the Galleria dei Ferrari and make at least 12 friends in this town, I also got the chance to visit my favorite supercar maker, Pagani, and drive my favorite supercar, the Zonda. And let's not forget the single-seater Formula student car that I drove at the University of Modena, Reggio Emilia, through my friends. But finally, it was time to hit the city that I'd always been so curious about, Roma. In fact, I had been so anxious to visit Rome all my life that if I'd had my way right in the beginning, this series may have well been called Rome to Rome, because I would have come here first. But that's not the way it was going to happen, and I was so much happier for it. I mean, 15th century Renaissance Paris just had to be the beginning of my trip, and this, the pre-Christian city of Rome, had to be the culmination. And so it had happened. This is the Church of Santa Maria in Rome. I was denied permission to shoot inside because it was Vatican territory, so I kept going around the outside, shooting every little bit of it that I could. And I'm not joking, this was only the first block of Rome that I'd seen this morning. I was utterly spellbound, as you can see. The eternal city that so many of my favorite people had come from and had spent their lives writing about. From Leonardo da Vinci to Federico Fellini. And if I started counting the number of films that were made in this city that I absolutely love, then I guess you'd have me naming all those films throughout the episode. So I'm not going to do that. Suffice to say, La Dolce Vita was made here. Perhaps Fellini's greatest film about the 7 hills of Rome and about the 7 deadly sins. But getting out of the hotel on my first morning here, having arrived in the night, the city was jam-packed with tourists. I don't really blame them, this being summer. Look at the surface of this wall. Okay, somehow in this area, there's no getting away from the fact that there's too many tourists here. Everyone from the Chinese to Italians are selling stuff about Rome, little souvenirs and replicas of things, and I'm really not interested in carrying back something that says I went to Rome, cheesing me off a little. And I'm still headed to the Colosseum, always want to see that. Rome was amazing. You can't really walk 10 feet before plonking your camera back down on the tripod and shooting the same building again from another side. And the way you're able to find modern structures right in front of some old pre-St. Paul structure is just unbelievable. There it was, my first glimpse of ancient Rome. Now because Rome is built on slopes and hills, it's very hard to get the camera's tripod setting right. And now, emerging from the junk of the 21st century, I think I'm approaching ancient Rome. I'll tell you what I'm saying. I'll show you. I saw something. See that? I had to head straight there. Yeah. Let me get closer. And even good old Moto Guzzi couldn't keep my attention for very long. I would often have my breakfast walking around on steps of churches. That's exactly what I did. Drank a whole liter of milk down before moving on to ancient Rome. I had a feeling I was going to run out of videotape and battery very soon. I've seen more Harleys in France and Italy than I ever thought I would. Look, we're approaching some part of very ancient Rome. All the pizzerias can wait.